Welcome to Too Fond of Books. My name is Janelle, and I have finally narrowed down my pile of possibilities to a somewhat reasonable amount in order to do this video. March Mystery Madness is coming up very soon, and I have had so much fun going through my own books and the books that I have out from the library to see which ones will fit the theme for March Mystery Madness, which is 2 by 2. So I finally have narrowed it down to 27 books. Now, I know that you are going to laugh, and that's okay, because I laughed too. But as I said already, this is a pile of possibilities, not a set TBR. I like to have choices. I find myself as a reader, if I'm told I have to read a certain book, I kind of have this rebellious streak where then I don't want to read that book at that moment. I want to read something else. So I like to have, choices, and so piles of possibility work much better for me than TBRs. So here we go. These are the possibilities of what I will be reading for March Mystery Madness. Let's start with the read-alongs and buddy reads. So first up is The Breaking Point by Mary Roberts Rinehart. This is a book that she wrote in 1922, and I'm hosting a read-along of this on Discord. So if you go to the March Mystery Madness Discord group, you will see along the left-hand side, you will see the Breaking Point read-along. Please join us. It's going to be so much fun. I've got the dates for it in there. I've chosen 2 weeks to read this book, which I think is a good amount of time. So I'm excited to be reading this and to be discussing it with other mystery lovers. I am also joining Elizabeth in her read-along of Murder in Old Bombay by Nev March. This is a reread for me. I really enjoyed this book, and so I'm excited to dive in and reread it with other people. And then I am doing a buddy read of The Waiting Sands by Susan Howatch. I am buddy reading this with Donna, and I'm really excited. This is romantic suspense from I believe it's 1966. So that works perfectly for the 2 by 2 theme. And this is set in Scotland. Quote, "I feel so strongly as if everything here was waiting. The house, the shore, and now these sands are waiting." End quote. Rachel had been waiting too, waiting for an end to the nightmare that had already taken 2 lives and now threatened more. Someone Rachel knew and loved had become a murderer and had turned the handsome old Scottish manse into a place of horror. But which face, which dear familiar face, was the mask of the murderer? I am so excited. This one sounds great. And then last but not least, I am reading The Death of Riley by Rhys Bowen. This is for a mystery book club that I'm a part of with Kate Howe and a whole bunch of other fantastic people. And we are reading through the Molly Murphy series, and March is The Death of Riley, which is the second in this series, so that works perfectly for the theme of March Mystery Madness. This is a historical mystery series set in New York City in the very early 1900s, like 1901, 1902, and Molly Murphy is a recent immigrant to the States from Ireland, and yeah, it's a great series. Again, this is a reread for me. And then finally, I have I'm doing the 12 challenge, which is to ask 12 people to recommend books to me, and I will read one per month for the year. And so for the month of March, I am doing The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. This was recommended to me from Carolyn, from Carolyn's Reading Ramblings, and so this fits perfectly with March Mystery Madness because Stuart Turton, his first name and his last name both have 2 T's in them, so it's a perfect 2 by 2. This is a book that I can't believe I haven't read yet, and so I am excited to dive into it. This has been out since, 2018, about a house party where a woman is shot, but Aidan, one of the guests at the party, is expected to solve her murder. But he wakes up every day and it's the same day, the day of the murder. So it's like this cool blend of mystery and Groundhog Day. Okay, and then I'm going to show you a few books that I have already talked about in my recommendations videos, and so I'm just going to go over them quick. I've got Double for Death by Rex Stout, this is perfect. So this is one of his private investigator Fox books, so it's not Nero Wolfe, but the back says Murder 2x2, so it's just totally perfect. You know, the victim was shot twice. There's 2 gorgeous suspects, 2 motives, 2 suitors, 2 well-used murder weapons. It's just perfect for this theme. I also have Double Double by Ellery Queen, which is perfect for this theme as well. And then I also have Something to Hide by Elizabeth George. This is the latest in her Linley series, and it's just out this year, 2022, so it is perfect for this theme. And it's been very exciting because it has been a few years since her last book out in the series. I was going to double check if I will put it up here on the screen. But I'm excited about this one. And it I'm going to count it for my mammoth because March is also like March of the Mammoths, because it looks huge, doesn't it? But this is what's interesting, is it's not actually a mammoth because it is only 655 pages. No, 687 pages. So it doesn't count as a mammoth, but doesn't it look a lot bigger than 687 pages? Anyway, okay, now here are some books that I have not yet talked about in recommendation videos that are on my pile of possibilities. First up, we have 50/50 by Steve Cavanagh. This worked out great because this is next up in the Eddie Flynn series for me to read. 2 sisters on trial for murder. They accuse each other. Who do you believe? So it's perfect because the title is 50/50, but it is also about 2 sisters. So yeah, so I'm excited about that one. And then we have Duplicate Death by Georgette Hare. I've been reading Georgette Hare, her mysteries recently, and I just love this. So this was Duplicate Death is from 1951. An elegant card party turns deadly. Inspector Hemingway has his work cut out for him when a seemingly civilized game of duplicate bridge leads to a double murder. The crimes seem identical, but were they carried out by the same hand? Things become even more complicated when the fiancé of the inspector's young friend, Timothy Kane, becomes Hemingway's prime suspect. Kane is determined to prove the lady's innocence, but when he begins digging into her past, he finds it's more than a little bit shady. So I'm really looking forward to this one. All right, Blue Monday by Nicci French. This one fits because Nicci French is a writing team. I believe it's a husband and wife writing team. Yes, it is. So 2 authors, so that's perfect. And Blue Monday is the first of the Frida Klein series, and I've been looking forward to reading this for a while, so this is the perfect opportunity. She is a psychotherapist, and there is the abduction of a 5-year-old boy, and it's all over the news. And then she's got a patient who's been having dreams in which he has a hunger for a child, a red-haired, freckled child he can describe in perfect detail, a child the spitting image of Matthew. So that just sounds really intriguing. The Fine Art of Invisible Detection by Robert Goddard. This came out in 2020, so that's how I'm using that to fit the theme, and Goddard also has 2 D's in his last name. Umiko Wada has had quite enough drama in her life, with her husband recently murdered and a mother who seems to want her married again before his body is cold. She just needs to keep her head down. As a secretary to a private detective, Her work life is pleasingly uncomplicated, filled with coffee runs, diary management, and paperwork. That is, until her boss takes on a new case. A case which turns out to be dangerous enough to get him killed. A case which means Wada will have to leave Japan and travel to London. Yeah, this just sounds, it sounds really good. All right, and then Missing American, The Missing American by Quartey. This also came out in 2020, so it's perfect for the theme. This is the first book in a series introducing private investigator Emma Jean, whose first case leads her to the murky heart of internet scams in Ghana. So this is about a private investigator, and it is set in Ghana, which is really interesting. I've never read anything by this author, so yeah, I'm excited to give that a try. And then we have Getting Old is Murder by Rita Lakin. Meet Gladdy Gold, Florida's oldest private eye. So I've got this to fit because the main character is named Gladdy Gold. Her first name and her last name start with a G, so I thought that was good for doubles. She's not Miss Marple. Her friends are no Charlie's Angels. Nevertheless, 75-year-old Gladdy Gold and her gang of Fort Lauderdale retirees are out about and hunting down a killer who is silently stalking them. This one just sounds really fun. I am currently on this kick of reading mysteries by older, that have older characters in them. I just think it's so much fun. This one came out in 2005, and I'm fairly certain that this is the first one in the series. Okay, and then we have Giatos Hand by Iain Pears. This is from his art history series, which I really like, and this one fits because Giotto has 2 T's in the name, and it's also a 2-word title. When the letter first arrived at the offices of Rome's art theft squad, General Battando thought it was just another deranged demand from a demented art fan. But the mysterious correspondent is a woman who claims to know something about a painting that was stolen over 30 years ago, and Battando believes the theft was just one in a series of clever heists masterminded by an elusive thief he's dubbed Giotto. And then Matricide at St. Martha's by Ruth Dudley Edward. It could be that it's got 242 pages. I thought that was a fun way to play with the doubles. It could also be Matricide at St. Martha's, so the 2 M's. Anyways, it's a mystery set in Cambridge. It was written in the 90s, 1994. So Matricide at St. Martha's, the back says that it is a wicked send-up of English academic life. All right, and then we have Date with Malice by Julia Chapman. I just recently read the first one in this series, and so this is the second book in the series, so it's how I'm fitting it in. This is a series set in Yorkshire, in the Yorkshire Dales, and I really enjoyed the first one, so I'm excited to keep going in this series. I love the setting. It also has 2 people on the cover, which would fit. We have Delilah, who runs the Dales dating agency, and Samson runs the Dales detective agency. So that's also a fun 2x2. Okay. Murder at the Ritz by Jim Eldridge. This is the first in a new series. He writes the museum mysteries, where each mystery takes place in a different museum in England, and it's set in the very late 1800s. This is set during World War II, which is how, no, it's not that. This one has 44 chapters. So I thought that was a good doubles or 2x2 to make it fit. I'm really interested to try this series out. London may be at war, but crime goes on. August 1940. On the streets of London, locals watch with growing concern as German fighter planes plague the city's skyline. But inside the famous Ritz Hotel, the cream of society continues to enjoy all the glamour and comfort that money can buy until an anonymous man is found dead, his throat slashed open. All right, The Solitary House by Lynn Shepherd. This one fits because it is the second in the series. This is set during the Victorian time period, London 1850. And what I love about this series, the first one in the series, she used the book Mansfield Park by Jane Austen and kind of wrote a story around that. In this book, she's using Bleak House by Charles Dickens, which is great. The detective is Charles Maddox, who is kind of this private detective, and so I'm really excited to delve into that one. All right, Death at Gallows Green by Robin Paige. This fits because Robin Paige is a writing team, a husband and wife writing team. It is also the second one in the series. It's a Victorian cozy mystery. Catherine Ardley is everything the Victorian English gentlewoman is not. Outspoken, free-thinking American, and a writer of the frowned-upon penny dreadfuls. She shocked her ancestral home at Bishop's Keep and captured the interest of Detective Sir Charles Sheridan as they solved their first case together. Now, the brutal demise of a local constable and the mysterious disappearance of a child have them the sleuthing couple on the trail of deadly greed and criminal mischief. All right, and then I decided to read two from the same author. So I have The Sanctuary Seeker and The Manor of Death. These are historical mysteries set in England in Exeter, around Exeter, so kind of Devon, Cornwall area, in the very late 1100s, so medieval mysteries. The Funeral of Figaro by Ellis Pears. This one fits because it's got two F's in the title, but Ellis Pears also has two L's in her first name. This is called an operatic whodunit, which sounds really fun to me. When Figaro is killed in an airplane crash, it seems that nothing can save the production of Mozart's well-loved opera at the Leander Theatre. But then world-class baritone Marc Chartres arrives from Europe and the cast breathes a sigh of relief. Yet music is not all that is close to the handsome singer's heart, and when he sets his cap at young Hero, the teenage daughter of the Leander's owner, feathers are ruffled. So I love this connection to the marriage of Figaro, the opera. I like Ellis Pears. Ellis Pears most famously wrote the Brother Cadfael mysteries. This is a standalone set in modern day, like contemporary, and she wrote it in 1962. Okay, then we have A Metropolitan Murder by Lee Jackson. This is his second novel, so that's how I'm making that fit. The last train of the night pulls into the gaslit platform of Baker Street Underground Station. A young woman is found strangled, her body abandoned in the second-class carriage. So this is a Victorian historical mystery. In Cold Blood by Jane Bettany. This was published in 2020. So that fits very well, and the main character is D.I. Blood, and Blood has two L's in the last name, and of course Blood in the title is the same. So this is one I've never heard of before. I've never read anything by this author. As the Whitworth family begin renovations on their new home, their plans are brought to an abrupt end when they discover a body buried in the back garden. D.I. Isabel Blood and her team are called to investigate, but as she approaches Ecclesdale Drive, a feeling of unease settles in her gut. The property cordoned off is number 23, the house she used to live in as a child. The forensic team estimate that the body has been in the ground for up to 40 years, coinciding with the time Isabel's family lived in the house. Isabel's father vanished without a trace when she was 14 years old, and as her mother remained tight-lipped about her father's disappearance, Isabel can't escape the unnerving sense of dread that it's his body buried in the garden. Doesn't that sound good? All right, and then we have Lost Hills by Lee Goldberg. This fits because it's a two-word title, and Lee also has two E's in the name. I heard about this book from Naomi at Naomi's Bookshelf. A detective's first brutal case could make or break her career. A video of Detective Eve Ronan's off-duty arrest of an abusive movie star goes viral, turning her into a popular hero at a time when the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department is plagued by scandal. The sheriff, desperate for more positive press, makes Eve the youngest female homicide detective in the department's history. So yeah, that just sounded good. And then A Peculiar Combination by Ashley Weaver. This is the first book in a new series. She writes the Amory Ames series, which I quite enjoy. And I'm making this one fit because it is set during World War II, and that's got doubles for me. So yeah, I wanted to fit this one in. First rule, don't lose your concentration. Second rule, don't make mistakes. Third rule, don't get caught. Electra McDonnell and her family earn their living outside the law. Breaking into the homes of the rich and picking the locks on their safes may not be condoned by British law enforcement, but with World War II in full swing, Uncle Mick's locksmith business just can't pay the bills anymore. So when Uncle Mick receives a tip about a safe full of jewels in an empty house, he and Ellie can't resist. All is going as planned until the pair is caught red-handed. But instead of arresting them, government official Major Ramsey has an offer. Either Ellie agrees to help him break into a safe and retrieve blueprints crucial to the British war effort, or he turns her over to the police. That sounds good. London Bridge is Falling Down by Christopher Fowler. This one fits because it's a pair of detectives, Bryant and May. This is the latest out in the Peculiar Crimes Unit series, and so I am really very, very excited to get to this one. And then last but not least, we have The Woman in the Blue Cloak by Dion Mayer. This book has 22 chapters, and so that's how it fits. Early on a May morning in the depths of South Africa's winter, a woman's naked body, washed in bleach and unidentified, is discovered on a stone wall beside the N2 highway at the top of Sir Lowry's Pass, some 35 miles from Cape Town. The local investigation stalls, so the case is referred to Captain Benny Grizzle and his colorful partner Vaughn Cupido of the Hawks, the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigations. The woman proves to be Alicia Lewis, an expert in old Dutch masters' paintings who specializes in the recovery of valuable lost art. Benny and Vaughn discover the two men she had contacted before coming to South Africa, who reveal that she was seeking a rare painting by an artist, Rembrandt's finest student, not seen since it disappeared from Delft in 1654 and of unimaginable value. But how Lewis died, why, and at whose hand shocks even the two veteran detectives. So that just sounded really interesting as well. So there you have it. That is my massive pile of possibilities. What do you think? First of all, let me know in the comment section, where do you think I should start with these books? It's highly unlikely that I will read all of them in the month, but I guess you never know. Also, please let me know if you've read any of these books, and so if you really liked them or if you really didn't like them, that will help me prioritize this massive pile. So thanks for watching this video, and you will see more March mystery content coming up very soon, as March is not very far away. So you will see me, I will see you for another video soon. Bye.